welcome to the Political Show right here on Active FM, where radio has never been better. I'm your girl Cynthia, but you can call me Gix. And with me in studio we have
Gavin Enslin.
Pastor Gavin Enslin and
The Black Knight.
the Black
Nah, I don't believe it, eh?
Yes.
The Black Knight's here.
He is here in person.
Didn't you have a migraine yesterday, Giggs?
I did.
Yeah, no, I'm
Last
telling you,
2
Giggs had a
days.
migraine because Black Knight's in the show.
He is
Yesterday.
here. Yeah,
We nearly
Right here?
we nearly forgot him in the intro.
we did. Right
Hey.
here on the Political Show, where Christ Politics is.
Hot politics.
Hot politics. And this week's hot politics, we are looking at a very, I don't want to say controversial, it's not controversial, but a sensitive subject.
It's sensitive, not controversial.
Yeah, well, depends on how sensitive it is.
Okay.
Yeah, it depends on how sensitive it is. Well, we're looking at who should Christians vote for in South Africa.
Yeah, and I think we can also towards the end chat about should pastors tell people who to vote for.
Yeah, that's also
Because
another very sensitive situation.
we had a sensitive discussion amongst the team.
Yes.
Prior to going live or going recorded,
Yes.
whatever you call it when we started.
Yes. Pascal, do you want to give a more brief explanation?
Yeah, basically there was a podcast on I just want to check the date here. I want to get the right date because you need to be accurate with this thing. But on the 21st of July 2025 with Prophet Leon Dupree from he's the main branch of their church. It's called Encounter Church. Is in Centurion. There's about 4 or 5 other branches. I think one in Krugersdorp. I think there's one in Cape Town now, places like that. And he's doing a regular session with Ronaldo Gous. And Ronaldo Gous is a podcaster. He became famous in the early days of YouTube. And, speaks about a lot of the political stuff in South Africa. And then later on, he became a councillor, city councillor for Port Elizabeth in the metropolitan area of Port Elizabeth, which is now known as Quebeca. And Ronaldo Gous then became a member of parliament for the DA after the 2024 elections. And then they cut out pieces of a previous podcast from 2008 or 2010 somewhere where he was complaining about people that are saying, kill white people and all of that sort of stuff. And he was saying, imagine if a white person said, and then he said a whole lot of words which, people would get very angry if a white person said that. And then they cut that out and made it like that's what he said. In the meantime, he was complaining about black people saying this about white people and saying, imagine now if a white person says this is how it sounds. And then the leader of the DA, John Steenhuisen, fired him.
Mm.
So his words were in the podcast that John Steenhuisen threw him under the bus. So they were having a podcast about political matters and stuff like that. And a part of the discussion was who Christians should vote for. So that's what we're going to talk about. What they said and what we think about what they said.
Yes, it's going to be an interesting show, as always, right here on the Political Show, where Christ Politics is.
Hot politics.
Hot politics.
This is the Political Show.
So we are speaking about an interview between, is it Prophet Leon Dupree and Ronaldo Gous. They were basically speaking on a whole lot of different topics. They were speaking on the state of South Africa. Basically, they looked at the political situations that are happening in South Africa. They spoke on a topic of what South Africans aren't being told. They also looked at the future of the democracy of South Africa and whether there is still hope for our nation. But we're not going to dive into everything that they spoke about. We're just going to focus on the one part of the conversation that really sparked an interest in the team, and that is the whole fact that the whole situation surrounding who Christians should vote for. And in their conversation, they spoke about a party like the Freedom Front. So what are your thoughts on that? Firstly, they also spoke about the ANC and how the ANC is, how they're against the ANC and things like that. So what are your thoughts on the overall topic? They also slightly brought up a party like the Democratic Alliance as well and stuff. So what are your overall thoughts on that?
Yeah. So obviously, because another host was fired by the Democratic Alliance, he's not. I mean, he used to defend them to the hilt. He's not defending them anymore, and the reason he's not defending them is because their leader is actually a coward. He's not willing to stand up for anyone, and I'm not sure, where the pressure comes from, but it's probably coming from the donors. They were also talking about the fight between the ANC and the DA, because if you listen to many of the podcasters or journalists in South Africa, they keep talking about the GNU is about to collapse. It's in intensive care, and they were discussing the fact that GNU is fine because both the ANC and the DA's donors want the GNU to stay together, and so both of them are actually being controlled by business interests in South Africa. Then they also spoke about the African Christian Democratic Party, and Leon Dupree said that they tried to help them, set up some IT stuff for them and things like that, but they have the wrong picture. And then Ronaldo Gous was saying when in interaction with one of the viewers who made a comment, that other than religious stuff, what policies does the ACDP have? So that was the comment that was made, and then Ronaldo Gous didn't want to say who he's going to vote for, but then Leon Dupree said he's looking at voting for the Freedom Front, Dr. Corne Mulder, and so you can go and have a look. I think it was Constance Viljoen who started. He was a general in the Salvation Army. He started the Freedom Front, and this was all about fighting for the freedom for self-determination for the Afrikaner people. And now they're called the Freedom Front Plus because they added people other than Afrikaners into the Freedom Front, so they're now called the Freedom Front Plus. So Leon Dupree said he's gonna vote for them. Now, what I will say is Dr. Corne Mulder, who's now just recently become the leader of the Freedom Front. What I would say about him, he's probably the best politician in Parliament at the moment. And when I say politician, one of the things, for example, that he said about the whole visit to the White House, of President Cyril Ramaphosa and John Steenhuisen and that whole collection in that disastrous meeting that took place. He said that the time wasn't, you've actually got to work before you have a meeting like that. And so you've actually got to get lower level people to sit down and actually put frameworks in place before the leaders meet. And obviously they'll be operating, under orders from the top guys. Yeah. But to get things to a point where the guys can actually talk. So he said that meeting was premature.
Yeah.
And a lot of very clever things that he said. They're very wise things. And they actually went after and met with people in the US State Department and various departments. Even they met a lot of the guys in Congress. And they were asking them, please don't put sanctions against South Africa. If you want to sanction someone, sanction the ANC leaders. And what people need to realize is the reason why the push for sanctions is not just Donald Trump. The reason why the push for sanctions is so strong in America, and it's actually a bipartisan issue, which means it's both Democrats and Republicans are uniting to sanction South Africa. So I think we've really messed up with him. If you get the Democrats and the Republicans to agree, then I think you've messed up with him. And obviously we're always standing with America's enemies. We take Israel to the International Court of Justice. We support Iran. Iran helped fund the ANC campaign. That's the claim that's come out. Many people believe that the ANC got funded by Iran when they were bankrupt, and all sorts of things like that. So these guys were now talking about, supporting the Freedom Front, because then Ronaldo said, no, that's who he's talking about. And but when they said this thing about, and I'm just going to give my first comment, and then I'm going to hand over to you guys, because obviously I've just been given a rundown of what these guys were talking about. When they spoke about the African Christian Democratic Party, and Ronaldo Gous said, what policy do they have other than religious policies? I don't agree with him. If you go in, the ACDP has an entire blueprint, and it's a federal blueprint for the Republic of South Africa, that South Africa will be run as a federal country. And a big part of their their strategy and their structure is, and it's been like this from the start, that you want to press as much power down to local level. So in other words, give your city or town councillor as much power as possible. And only when things start going beyond like ward councils, then you start operating, governments at higher levels. So for example, you'll have these local government authorities within a province which becomes a state. The state has the power to, like in America, to grant wedding licenses, to grant, to do all sorts of things, education, and all of that sort of stuff, and then only things like foreign affairs and stuff like that, happens at the national level. Now that is massively in the ACDP's policy document, and the DA is supposed to be a federalist party. And they come from a previous party, that existed in under apartheid times, called the Progressive Federal Party. So that's why the ANC has a national executive committee and the DA has a federal council. And so the ACDP, though, is actually far more federal than the DA, to be quite frank with you. And so I don't agree with that. And we actually obviously recently interviewed Kenneth Meshwe, and the problem is that many of the issues that he's standing up for are issues that if you don't solve those issues, and I'm talking about issues like abortion, if you don't solve the issues that are destroying the family, you're not going to fix South Africa. So if you're coming along with free market economics or whatever you want to say is going to solve South Africa's problems, I don't believe you're going to solve any problems if you don't sort out the family. And I don't believe you're going to sort out the family if you don't bring Jesus in. I'm sorry. It's not a political issue. I mean, it's not a religion versus politics issue. The fact of the matter is that society is so broken. Unless you fix the foundational building blocks of society, which is the family, you're not going to fix the society. And the family is only going to be fixed when people have an encounter with Jesus. Because they're so wounded, they're so broken, and they're so hurt. No psychologist is going to fix them. And so, basically, Leon du Preez was saying something to the effect of, you've got to look at who's going to run the country the best. Now, I'm sorry, I've heard that argument for many, many years. And, I've heard many Christians give me that argument about the Democratic Alliance. And I vehemently disagree. Because at the end of the day, if they're not going to work with the church, if they're going to say that, the Bible must be pushed one side when it's the overwhelming belief structure of most people in South Africa, you're not going to solve the problems. So, I feel pretty strongly about that. Maybe I'm biased, but the Freedom Fronts came out of Afrikaner nationalism, which is where apartheid came from. So maybe I'm biased. I could not vote for them.
Like Knight, what are your thoughts?
Sure. Just to get on that whole ACDP thing.
Yeah, you missed the interview.
I
don't want to bring up sore points now, but
and I regret because I listened to the thing and I found out, and I had questions myself. I was like, I missed the chance to ask. But I think I don't know what your guys' take is. I think as Christians, when we go out there now, we need like a form of undercover. I think this is what I think, people. Please don't shoot anyone. I'm saying it, so
we need a form of undercover.
You need to shoot me. Yes, I think as Christians, the ACDP's problem is that they go out as a Christian party. And I've seen out there things don't really work good when you come out and say we're doing this for Christians versus if you say we're doing this for the country. And when you
Okay, I just want to correct you there, though.
Yes.
The ACDP doesn't say we're going to do things for Christians.
Yeah.
Yes, but they come out as a Christian party.
Because they are a Christian party.
You see, I think that's where the problem is. The problem is that people, as much as we pray here in South Africa and we believe in God and everything like that, what I've discovered with a lot of people in South Africa is that they do have a problem with a church or like a form of whatever church they attended, I find out that they actually have a problem with that, and that has given like the whole Christian name a bad stigma, if I may say. And that's why, if anything is relating to Christian or Christianity when it comes to their life that they living out there when they ran away from church, I don't think it's something they will go for.
Can I ask you a question about
as
that
much
statement?
as much as with the Freedom Front guys who they voting for, the biggest problem is that the overwhelming majority of the people here are black people. So even if they vote for those people, I don't see what change is gonna come out of there. I'm just commenting on what they said with the whole Freedom Front thing, and I stand with you. I also wouldn't vote for them. Firstly, because it wouldn't change anything. But hearing that they come out of the apartheid era is like, why vote for them? So
So does the ANC.
yeah, but
That was a come out of the apartheid era.
and to be fair, I wouldn't vote for the ANC. But the ANC came out as, black, freeing the blacks. You know what they told our grandparents and lied to them, because today we are living that.
When the
and
ANC started,
there's no freedom
listen,
here.
do you know that when the ANC started, they were a Christian party?
Yes. And they stole.
And when they stopped being a Christian party,
and they stole the party. They actually stole.
no,
the
no,
party.
when they stopped being a Christian party, what happened? Well, now we got the mess we got now.
Yeah, but
So-
it was stolen. Like the whole
Doesn't-
thing
yeah.
was stolen. It's not like it's
You
the
know,
original ANC.
yeah, but what I'm saying is, forget about what happened. It was a Christian party, stopped being, it became a communist socialist party.
Yeah.
Okay, so how that happens not the point. What happened after it became a communist socialist party?
Yeah,
Well, it's become an oppressive regime. Let's be
Yes.
honest. South Africans are living under oppression now.
and hence why I'm saying I'm not
Okay.
saying that we should
the second
hide.
thing I
We
wanna-
should hide Christianity.
Yeah, the
All I'm
second
saying
thing is
that
People
we should
have
be
a,
clever about.
people have a bad view of the church. Well, first of all, I don't agree that it's that many people.
It's actually a lot of.
No, there's some people. You have that view far more because that's,
No, I don't. I
No, no,
I
no,
go
no,
to church.
The view, no, not about you personally.
Oh.
You have the view that so many people are against the church
Oh.
because it's what you hear on podcasts,
Oh. Okay.
okay? Because it's what you hear in the media, and it's because it's what the ANC, MK, and the EFF feed you,
Say. Okay.
okay? Because those, and it's because of what the universities say.
Yeah.
The church is usually respected in this country. If you listen to the elites all talk about the gift of the givers when there's a disaster.
Yeah.
Who do the people talk about? The
They
church.
talk about the church.
Those same people who complain about the church, where do they run to when their life falls apart?
They go to the church.
And that's what I'm saying. Any one of you that might be complaining about the church, and then your life falls apart, then you run to the church. Please don't only go to the church when it's bad times. The church is awesome. And people say stuff about the church because at the end of the day, they're listening to lies of the devil.
But don't you think that we should have like I don't know,
No,
an undercover, like be shrewd, like Jesus says when it comes to.
there's
these
a lot of
things.
people. If people knew what if this interview with Kenneth Meshwe,
Oh, sorry, and he does carry on saying that you must be loving like a dove. Sorry.
yes,
Because I just left be shrewd, and then people are like, oh, Jesus said that. He said you must be loving like a dove.
no, but if
Okay,
you
then.
sit down and you listen to what Kenneth Meshwe said,
Yeah.
most people that I know that saw that interview are probably going to vote for the ACDP because what he said, most people believe.
Please go watch it, guys.
Yeah.
Go. Please make sure.
Let's give an example. One of the things he spoke about was when, and I mean, Meshwe's been around a while. So he was there when the Constitution was voted for in Parliament and then signed into law. And the ACDP was the only party that voted against the Constitution of South Africa. You telling me that's an unpopular view in this country?
No, not now.
No.
Everyone is against the Constitution.
Yeah. So the thing is, but why? Because it legalized abortion, and it forced a whole lot of things down our throat which are ungodly, all right, and should be unconstitutional. And he had the courage to stand up and vote no, with the whole world watching. And he withstood that pressure. Which other politician in our parliament is willing to do that?
Yeah. But he had a chance. You see, 2020 he had a chance. He also had a chance because he famously spoke about, I forgot that that thing that he had in the parliament, and it made him kind of famous. I forgot he was speaking about something which did make him famous. They just, I don't know, they blew it. Like they didn't use that opportunity. That's when also we had
No, but
we had that
there's something else he said in the
Akum coming in
Yeah.
also at that same year.
yes.
That year was up for grabs.
No, but remember, there's something else he said.
Yes, and ANC was also falling apart. Like that year was up for grabs.
No, but there's something else he said.
ANC's been falling apart.
Yeah,
Sorry, I'm just saying.
True.
the DA is falling apart.
Yeah.
Do you think so?
They are.
Mm.
They've got plenty infighting.
Didn't-
Trust me.
They had two.
Trust me.
They gave
DA is falling
2%.
No,
Yeah,
support.
but
Inside, internally.
Oh,
they're fighting.
internally.
Yeah.
Oh.
Look at that Liam Jacobs. You mentioned him. He's criticizing Gayton McKenzie there in Parliament, and 2 weeks
Then
later,
now he's in his park.
there's a midnight announcement on social media that he's joining the PA. I mean, at the end of the day,
Aish.
the DA is falling apart too. The PA is falling apart. I mean, Kenny Kuneni, you know, what happened with him? Oh, he's there to interview someone.
you know,
And the police come in to arrest the guy for a murder
he actually said he was at the wrong place
at the wrong time.
at the wrong
which
time
might be
for
true.
the right reasons.
If it's true,
Those were his words.
yeah, if it's true, he's the unluckiest guy I've ever seen.
Literally.
But if you're gonna become famous because you're the sushi king,
Yeah.
where you're eating sushi off naked women, you know, then how do you expect to be blessed in life? And this is why I'm saying, why is it that there's a glass ceiling for people who call themselves Christians? Because other Muslims came along and they tried to form a party called Islamic State. Why is it fine for another party to be called Al Jamaa, and they even obtained the mayorship of Johannesburg for a period of
Hey,
time?
they're making
did.
waves in Lenasia. I've
Yeah, but
seen
they're
them
Muslim.
in Lenasia
Yeah,
because
but-
Lenasia is the population there.
Especially in Asia South.
Yeah.
But the thing is, at the end of the day, why is that okay? But now, because it's the African Christian Democratic Party, because they're Christian, now they must be undercover. No, I think we've been undercover too long. In my view, the Christians need to come out, stand up and be counted and be bold. All right? And at the end of the day, the only politician okay, Neshi stood with Ramaphosa. But I mean, everyone said that he had COVID. So they also put him on the back foot. Meantime, he hadn't even been tested. You know that Kenneth Meswe, they announced on nationwide news that he tested positive for COVID. He hadn't even been tested. Okay?
Oh yes, because he said that thing in the parliament. I just forgot what he
Yes.
said, but he said something.
But the thing is, he was the one that started speaking out against the lockdown, especially of churches,
Yes.
by August 2020. And he's the only politician in Parliament that
Was
spoke
it
out.
the lockdown? It
He
probably
spoke
was.
against
It
the
probably
lockdown. By
was the
August
lockdown.
2020, he was saying
Yeah.
they need to open the churches. They need to allow the pastors to go and visit their people.
Oh yes, he also came with that whole apartheid thing with the whole
With the-
yes,
with the- with the-
yeah,
with the- yeah, with the
vaccine
Dom pass.
that you need to vaccinate like
The vaccine
apartheid.
passports.
Yes.
Yeah. So a lot of the stuff, he was the most accurate politician in Parliament around COVID. So I mean, so how did he
I was
blow his
just
chance?
saying. No, I was just saying because they
Tucker Carlson
Did they
shouldn't
get-
be interviewing Ernst Roots. He should be interviewing Kenneth Meswe.
because I think they lost votes.
Imagine if
that-
Tucker Carlson interviewed Kenneth Meswe.
Oh.
You know how many Savians would see the interview? A lot.
Yeah. Okay.
A lot of Savians watch Tucker Carlson.
Yeah. I know
True.
that.
Okay. So instead he interviews Iranians and people like that,
Yeah.
and supports Iran and hates Israel. Imagine if he interviewed Meswe. Meswe will win the next election.
Yeah.
If you give him the exposure, because that Ronaldo Gous lied about him. He said ACDP doesn't have policies. I know the ACDP. They have got, I believe, the best policies of any party. And what is the number one thing they're for? Is freedom. Because that's what the Bible's all about.
Like I didn't know that they. stand
Like
for
even if
that.
you think about that comment that person made to say that
You mean Ronaldo Gous?
the comment that he was speaking on where
Yes,
they
with the
s-
ACDP.
yeah, where they say that apart from the religious policies,
What do they stand for?
What do they stand for? But if you go in and you look at their manifesto, you actually see that they stand for what South Africans stand for. It's not. It's
That-
not.
in
just-
terms of South
it's not
Africa,
just about the religious
No.
aspect of it.
if you look at the country they're putting forward, that is the one that is closest to what the people want.
Yes. I mean, take the compensation with not the what's this?
Expropriation with
Expropriation
no compensation.
with nil compensation. That policy, they don't stand for it, and it was a very big topic of discussion in South Africa when it came about again this year, and a lot of people were upset about it. And when you actually now read into it, it's not just about land, it's about all your assets, things that belong to you, and things like that. And a lot of South Africans are unhappy about that. And ACDP is one of the only parties that stand against
The PA doesn't.
no, they don't. Yeah,
They
the
claim to
DA
be a free
doesn't,
market party, but they're not. The DA doesn't.
they don't.
One of their ministers now just defended it.
I don't even think the EFF.
Hey?
I
No,
don't-
EFF obviously is going to be full on for it.
Yeah, they're for it. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Definitely.
MK's for it.
Oh, speaking about the farms and the DA, did you all know that Steenhuisen owns farms
Yeah.
and he's Minister of
Obviously.
Agriculture? That's like
No, but that's fun. You can own a farm and be Minister of Agriculture.
it's
It's like you can own a mine and be the
Yeah.
president. I mean, why not? Look,
wouldn't we find conflict of interest? there?
no,
I
you know,
think so.
no, this conflict of interest thing. You know, we've got all of this conflict.
But I think so.
We've got
It's
all
like,
of this.
It's
We've
like the
got all
whole
of this.
Elon Musk thing, and then when he found out that he's not gonna get the subsidy for
No,
we
you
call
be-
it subsidy
that you
for
believe
for
in
his thing.
you believe in what
you
Trump
thi-
said now, and I'm not an
But
Elon fan.
don't you think? Because what?
That's how Trump framed it.
It's he say she say situation.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, cool. Because
No, you need to listen to myself and Gigs. We know what we're talking about. We've been on the show.
oh,
All right.
I
So
can't
let's
drop
go
this.
to the last question. Let's go to the
Yes.
last question.
The important one.
The question here is: should pastors be telling people or speaking about who people should vote for? That is the question. Starting with Black Knight, because Pastor Gavin is a pastor, so we'll get his input afterwards.
Yeah, if not, then I shouldn't be on the political side.
My take is that I don't have a problem, but when I think about it, they shouldn't do that because they up there on stage speaking on God, the Bible, helping people to get through with their lives. If because the people in large, the congregation listens to whatever the pastor says. Not everyone, that is, not everyone. So the power that pastors have on people and I'll say their minds and stuff, it's that they can alter the one's voting choices as much as, hence why also voting is like a personal thing. It's like a thing that we also have in South Africa. We don't tell each other what you voted for because you don't want to persuade someone else to vote for what you believe, So in that form of view, I would say pastors shouldn't do that or
Okay.
tell people what to vote for on
So
stage.
basically, you're saying that pastors have the ability to manipulate people into voting for the wrong.
Hey, manipulate is a very
Because
strong
I
term.
mean, that's what you said. That they can
It's just
change their minds.
that was a lack of better wording, but manipulating is strong. But I just don't have the right term
Okay,
right now.
you're saying pastors can persuade people into
Maybe I'll accept that. Yes.
into what's this voting for.
Yes, I'd
parties.
accept that
So that's
term.
why they shouldn't. That's why they shouldn't. So you're saying basically
But-
that
but-
pastors
but-
don't
but-
have the right to.
But not
to
persuade in a term of, okay, this is why you have, not like that. Not persuade like that.
So I have a question. So it's fine for university to do it.
Universities, I think it's fine because
But they also have undue influence. And it's fine for the media to do it.
universities don't
It's
really
fine, it's-
alter people's.
What?
Not a majority. Like I don't see people
What?
living on. Where I am, I don't see people living on what they learn from school, what they learn from the books or anything like that. I haven't seen people
friend,
do that.
when-
Where I am, I
when the
haven't seen
EFF
people do
grew,
that.
they grew off the back of the universities.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Totally.
But that's why it's
The
like
universities influenced the kids to go EFF.
but
No,
that's why it's like a child's party, that one.
No,
That's why it can never
yeah,
be
but
taken serious.
that they influenced. So the pastor can't do it.
What are your thoughts, Pastor Gav?
Black Knight is talking the biggest load of rubbish under the sun. That is my view. At the end of the day, I'm sorry, if you look in South Africa now, and if you look at that interview you did with Kenneth Meshwe, the reality is that there's a whole, in my view, there's a whole lot of evil options and there's a few good options. Not many. And I'm talking about good versus evil. How many of these guys are going to fight for the right of the unborn? I never hear the Freedom Front talk about the unborn. I never hear the DA is for the slaughter of the unborn. The ANC is for the slaughter of the unborn. The EFF loves the slaughter of the unborn. The MK party, now that is demonic. That is about the shedding of human blood. That is demonic. And all these guys believe this stuff. You know, we used to have DA people come to us. And they wanted us, because, you know, we have a lot of young people in our church. They wanted us to get people to vote DA. And they thought because I'm white. Because that, you know, all you actually think I vote DA because I'm white. And because I'm white, they came and they said, let's turn all your youth into DA voters. I said, what is your position on abortion? Until the DA changes their position on abortion, I will not support you. I will speak against you. I will support you personally as a councillor, the one person I told them, because I did. But I will not support what you stand for. And at the end of the day, I'm sorry. The ANC needs to be spoken against in the church because they support abortion. Now, there's other issues too. The DA should be spoken against because they support abortion. MK should be spoken against in the church because they support abortion. The EFF, and so I can go on. I don't know where the Freedom Front stands. I think they mildly against abortion, but not very strongly, if you know what I'm saying. So then you're a wimp. I'm not going to support you. You must stand boldly. Life begins at conception. If you don't have that stand, how can I trust you on any other issue? If you are willing to allow an unborn child to be slaughtered, then how can I trust you on anything?
I think for me, my thoughts would be, I agree with Pastor Gav, would be...
Thank you. I win. It's 2-1.
Would be the whole thing, going back to the interview with Kenneth Meshwe.
Look, he did change my perspective. I'm going to be honest. I had a different view. I also thought, you know, but the ACDP is ineffective. But when I thought about that, the whole country, the whole establishment in the country standing against the ACDP because they stand for what's right.
Yeah.
And what's right's not popular in the elites.
Yeah. He basically mentioned the whole fact that when we look at what the Bible says about the stand of the church is meant to be in politics and stuff. And if as Christians we say we are going to live according to the word, and if we expect pastors to live according to what the Bible says, then we can't take away the political aspect of that as well. If this is what we expect in their personal lives, then we should also expect them to speak on politics and stuff. Obviously now, we can't. There's nothing we can do about human nature. You know, you can't vet every single pastor. I mean, we even had that show where they want to bring in the now regulations for who should be a pastor.
Well, that's the thing. If the church doesn't engage in politics, trust me, politics will engage the church.
Exactly.
And now they want to rule the church and tell pastors what to preach.
Yeah. So that's just my perspective. Obviously,
So
if you're bold enough as a pastor to
they
speak
even want to
about-
regulate who's allowed to be a pastor.
Yes, that's what I was saying now. We had that show where we
Yes.
spoke about. And what's this? My personal opinion is that if you're bold enough as a pastor to stand on your stage and speak about politics without any malicious intention, then do that. Because you want to ensure that the people that you're leading in your congregation, the nation, your community, are people that are standing for biblical principles, so that you can see what's this, the kingdom of God established in the nation. So speak up, but then if you're not bold enough to stand on the platform and speak, we also can't hold that against you. But the word is the word, and that's what the word speaks about.
So you'll agree with, like, let me say a judge, and they're not in court in their room, and then out there in the media they speak of a case and their thoughts, something that's personal
No, that's
to
something
them.
completely different.
No.
Confidentiality is completely different to.
But so is
I'm
voting.
No.
So you're not
is
going.
voting.
No, it's
Voting
not.
is
For
a
instance, I'll
confident
I'll
No, it's
matter.
not.
give so whenever.
But
we
that's why you
speak-
don't show people who you vote
No,
for, or you
tell-
don't even
you don't
tell. But
them,
that's confident.
But you direct them. You speak about what are the values.
That's persuading. That's what I was
Yes.
talking about.
You speak about the values that
Which is fun.
you.
What's
what is-
campaigning?
That's exactly.
Yeah,
that's
but
what all
ministers,
the
ministers do that. A pastor is not a minister. Is now a
Okay,
pastor a minister.
Kenneth Meshwe is
That's
He's a
where I was
pastor.
gonna come to. Is a pastor now
He's
a
a practicing.
minister?
He's a
He
practicing
is a
pastor.
pastor. So
Of,
is he
of
not
what? Of a
allowed-
a
party?
church.
Of a church.
Yeah, not of a party. So
No,
why
no.
stand on the
And
stage and
Kenneth
speak
Meshwe.
for a
He's the
party?
president
He's the
of
president of ACDP.
ACDP.
Uh-huh.
And he's a pastor of a
pastor in
church.
Fosterus.
Yeah, so he can speak for his party, because he's running. And also people will ask when you
Let
stand,
us
and
know
people
your
will ask when you
thoughts.
stand on stage, do you stand as a minister or are you standing there as a pastor?
Okay. Since you say minister, let's speak about the two people that we're discussing now.
Leon Dupré.
Leon Dupré and
Ronaldo Gous.
Ronaldo Gous. They were mentioning that, they're insinuating that you must vote for the VF plus. Were they wrong? Because they're not ministers. And you have podcasters that are going on to podcasts, and they're telling people that, okay, you should vote for this, you should vote for the EFF, you should vote for all of these other parties. But now if the pastor goes on stage and says that you need to think about who you're voting for, you can't just go and vote for just anyone. You need to look at what the Bible stands for, ensure that you're standing with the Bible, then that is wrong.
No.
now-
That's if they phrase it like that. They're not.
But that's what
they're not-
pastors do. They don't
Yeah,
say
what
that
I'm saying is that a
specifically-
pastor shouldn't stand on stage and say vote ANC. I'm
No,
saying
they're
that's
because
not
they support
cool.
abortion. He shouldn't say that.
Let us know your thoughts on the comments below. What are your thoughts? Because this debate will go on
Yeah,
for
no,
hours.
I'm just going to say this, no offense, Black Knight, but when Ray McCauley had Jacob Zuma on his stage and he let him speak behind the pulpit, which was a disaster for me. A lot of the Black Knights of the world were fine with it. And the thing is, at the end of the day, that was a problem, because what does the party that guy was representing stand for? And it's an anti-Christian agenda. The DA has an anti-Christian agenda. And the majority of the parties in Parliament have an anti-Christian agenda. And we're entitled, what was the freedom struggle all about? If a pastor can't stand up and say, you need to vote for a Christian agenda.
Now, if there's only two parties that have a Christian agenda, it's not against the pastor to say that.
Vote for one of them too.
Yeah. Do you understand? That is
Because the
just
rest
my
are
thought.
antichrist.
That is my
I
thought. In
agree.
Proverbs 29 verse 2 it
Disagree.
says, in Proverbs 29 verse 2 it says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked man rules, the people groan.
So the Bible votes with Pastor Gavin. Because if the evil people are in charge, the people suffer.
Yeah.
The nation suffers. And I'm sorry, I look at the state of the city of Johannesburg. Look at the roads. And then people say, oh, wow, wonderful Cape Town. But Cape Town, they've got drones flying up ahead that are monitoring the hell out of you. You can't even sneeze there, and they're checking you out for the cold. They're saying, come to the doctor. You know what I'm saying? No, and also the DA has just put in a rates bill where they're charging people an exorbitant amount for their rates. In that regard, they're worse than the ANC. And so, I'm sorry. I'm looking at these parties, and they're anti-freedom. The MK party is anti-freedom. EFF is anti-freedam. You're not allowed to own everything and you'll be happy. Why don't you just call him Julius Klaus Schwab Malema or Jacob WEF, World Economic Forum, Zuma? Like, seriously. And at the end of the day, when evil people rule, the nation suffers. And we're seeing that. We are seeing that. And so I'm actually saying, the church needs to start standing up and being counted. Jesus, part of the reason why he was crucified was because he stood up against the politicians of the day and they didn't like what he was saying, but he spoke the truth. Now, all I'm going to caution pastors, don't speak your opinion, please. Please speak the Bible. If you speak your opinion, you're going to talk rubbish. If you speak the Bible, then what you're going to say is going to be profound. And anything that goes against the word of God, you have to stand against. As a Christian, anything that goes against the word of God, you have to stand against. And I'm telling you now, you need to start judging who you vote for by what they say. And that's why I'm even saying, if I was in the States now in 2016, I would have supported Donald Trump because he spoke a pro-life agenda. Yeah. He spoke an agenda that says abortion is wrong, period. Now he's saying, no, it's a bit over the top to ban abortions, after before 15 weeks of pregnancy. So he's not fighting for the sanctity of human life. He's not. A human life to him is not sacred. If you're going to say that, I would have stood against him. All right, not to say I would have said vote Biden, because Biden says the child can be 3 and you can abort them, as long as it's the mother.
Like, how does that even make sense?
No, but I mean, they partial birth and even post-birth abortions, the Democrats, many of them stand for that.
Yeah.
That's the reality. So you can let this baby be born and then harvest all the organs. That's literally what some Democrats are standing for. So, 15 weeks versus, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, obviously this is not as bad, but this is still evil.
Yes. So let us know your thoughts in the comments below. It's been a very interesting show. I knew it was going to be very sensitive because in the political show, you've got 3 different demographics of South Africa. You've got a white South African,
Hallelujah.
a black South African, and
So
a
praise
foreign,
God.
and a foreign South African, which, that
Amen.
is a conversation for another day.
The foreign South African really loves the PA.
Yeah.
Not.
Let us know your thoughts right here. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you agree with the Black Knight? Do you agree with myself and Pastor Gavin?
Yeah, do you agree
Or
with the
do you
black knight?
have,
Do you agree with the white pastor?
Do you have other thoughts about this situation? Let us know in the comments below. I'm your girl Cynthia, but you can call me Geeks. And with me in studio, we've had
Gavin Ensland.
Pastor Gavin Ensland and
The Black Knight.
the Black Knight, right here on the political show where Christ politics is
Hot politics.
hot politics.
And it's been really awesome to have Black Knight here.
Yeah.
Haven't had anyone to fight with recently.
Ha ha!